Welcome back to Cheddar Sports. The rise of streaming has built countless communities across the internet, all with their own jokes and traditions. Oftentimes, those communities are positive, safe places for people to share their interests and feelings. But with that openness comes certain dangers that are rarely talked about. Joining us on the table to discuss the dangers that lurk in the dark corners of Twitch and elsewhere are streamer and caster Fiona Nova, Kotaku reporter Nathan Grayson, who recently wrote an article on the topic, and the focus of the article, streamer and activist Tanya DePaz. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. This is incredible. Thank you.
This is going to be a good chat. I'm excited.
Alrighty, so we're going to start off. I know everyone has kind of like their own positive takes, their own negative takes, their own opinions and comments to it, but I think it's good that we kind of articulate this and get it across. I know that Tanya and Fiona, you guys as streamers as well, have a lot to take, but I want to talk actually to Tanya. It seems that harassment is an endemic to an online platform, given the intimacy that Twitch affords the community. Are there any unique problems that arise there?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is because people get to watch you, they get to know you. There's a false sense of intimacy with a streamer and sometimes YouTubers. I don't know if Fiona has this as well, but you know, you're inviting someone virtually into your living room. They get to know you, they get to know your community. And so there's a little bit of either entitlement sometimes, and not a lot of times, but on occasion there is entitlement and feeling like, hey, I get to know this person, so I can say and do things like they're my real life friend, even if I never met them, or if I subscribe to them, and they, like, I give them $5 a month, so I know them. Oh my God, it's a clip of my cat. But, you know, or just people that they don't have anything to do. They want to harass people, you know, snow days, gotten a lot of things in just chatting where we used to get in IRL. So they're just some people that literally have nothing better to do with themselves. And that's what they come out and do.
Nathan, I'm going to throw the question to you as well. What are your thoughts on that particular, especially what Tanya's have to say about it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's definitely a belief that the relationship between like a streamer and a viewer should be more intimate than maybe like between a more traditional celebrity and a traditional fan of that. But at the same time, streamers are ultimately putting on a performance just like anybody else in entertainment. They're not people's best friend despite that perception. But sometimes people still like get a they get a false impression of what that is, and I think that can lead to situations where people expect too much. And while I think in a lot of ways it's a good thing that that kind of boundary between celebrity and the people who, you know, consume whatever they make has been lowered by things like Twitch, I also think that it can lead to issues like harassment when I guess streamers aren't necessarily given the tools to cut that off at the pass. And that's sort of what ended up happening with Tanya in this particular situation, is that the tools Twitch provides were not sufficient to keep her, you know, safe from somebody who was very determined to continue talking to her and at her.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Fiona, you're a streamer, but you also have a large following on Instagram and on Twitch. How do you balance how do you cater the balance between being open with your fans as well as trying to be personal and making sure that there's a separation between the two?
It's a good point on saying like Twitch is a place where you're really intimate with someone. Like you're really close, you're talking about your life, you're playing games, they see the background, you know, if you don't have a green screen, they see your room, like it's really intimate. And to me, I've dealt with harassment, unfortunately. I think a lot of women especially probably do deal with this type of harassment. And I feel like Twitch has hit a point where you can become a celebrity. Like you can go out on the street and people will notice you, and it can happen overnight. And the fact that Twitch hasn't made these tools necessary for harassment, stalking, doxing, these are things that really compromise your safety. So I don't understand why there are no tools yet to really figure that out, because again, it is a very real issue where you can become a celebrity like overnight. It can just happen all of a sudden, and it's on Twitch. So
yeah, that's so true. Tanya, this question is for you. This stalker has conducted an ongoing harassment campaign against you and others that are related to you. What were they doing exactly, for those that are not kind of aware or up to date what's going on, and how they were able to continue this sort of behavior, this abusive behavior? Let me correct that.
So basically they got banned out of my channel for being racist and homophobic. And instead of just taking the L and going, okay, I've worn out my welcome here, they followed me on a raid to a friend's channel. So for those that don't know about Twitch, when you're done, you can go raid someone else and say, hey, let's bring the community to this person that I want you to meet. And they immediately started complaining in that chat about how I banned them, I was toxic, that I'm, let's see, another choice thing was that I'm a racist lunatic, because I simply banned them. So for those that aren't aware, Twitch is not a democracy. I don't have to let you stay here. And so instead of just letting it go, because that person then banned them, later that evening, they came back, or a sock puppet or something came back, made an account based off one of my names, or moderators' names, and like was making harassing comments, etc. And then anyone that I hosted, auto-hosted, rated, they showed up and acted like, oh, I don't understand why I'm banned. And this went on from December 17th until January 16th, because I was traveling. Literally the first time I streamed after the holidays, they popped right back up. And so I don't know what was so devastating about not being able to stay in the channel after they showed they could not conduct themselves in a way that our community expects and wants you to behave. They just wouldn't let it go, and someone reached out to them and said, hey, why don't you just leave her alone? He's like, well, I get to be here. I expect to be here. And it's like, you don't get to be here. But since Twitch does nothing and doesn't keep you from watching a stream you're banned from, the only thing a ban does, for those that don't know, is literally you can't talk in the chat. I can see I can watch someone who's banned me. I can contact anyone in that stream. I can see who's watching. So now I can go follow these people, and I can follow after being banned. So this went on, not just me, but several people in my community, including folks who are like musicians, performers, friends that are just very casual about streaming, that I talked into streaming a while back, and now we're dealing with, they're anxious, we're all anxious. I have to turn on every tool that Twitch gives you, like auto mod. It got to the point where I could only do sub-only chat in order to feel safe and stream, which I don't want to make a pay-to-play stream. The whole point of me having this community and maintaining it and doing this is to create a good online space out of a lot of the trash that's out there. And that wasn't possible with this dude harassing us.
Absolutely, and I'm so sorry you had to go through something like that. Something like that should never happen in a community that is supposed to be holistic and dynamic and compassionate. Nathan, we've seen the dangers of this sort of stalking. Some people have even been killed through swatting. Recently, last year, Haley Baby was assaulted by a man with a gun. In your article, Tanya says that Twitch is dropping the ball in regarding to preventing these sort of problems. What are they doing or not doing that you think that should be changed or probably augmented?
Well, I mean, again, in this case, it was a situation where somebody managed to do all of this stuff without necessarily breaking rules. Like, I mean, they were definitely doing things that were wrong. They were functionally stalking somebody, but they were using tools that were available to them. And so what Twitch needs to do right now is take a look at the tools they're offering streamers and moderators, and also their own terms of service, and basically say, okay, well, we have a giant loophole here. What can we do to fix this? And that could be anything from, and this was actually something Tanya suggested when we were talking for my article, but that could be anything from having a system more akin to Facebook, where if you block or ban somebody, then they can't find you. You basically don't exist to them anymore. So somebody would not be able to see your channel. They couldn't, see who was in your chat, which is just a really strange thing to let somebody who's been banned still be able to do. But yeah, stuff like that. Or again, in terms of service, they could say, okay, well, maybe this is an issue on our part. Maybe we should be the ones intervening and taking care of this. And so instead of having features on the side of streamers, which would still be helpful, it could be a Twitch moderator who just says, okay, we're banning this person's account. They are no longer welcome on our platform, and that's that. Honestly, I think it should be both.
All right, so this question is going to be for all of you, but we'll go around the room starting with Fiona, then Nathan, then Tanya. What can streamers do besides obviously doing sub chat only? What can they do to help protect themselves and others in the community to avoid this sort of harassment? We have Discord that's sometimes connected to our channels. We have our own social media accounts. What are means, to prevent any sort of harassment so that we can continue streaming and everyone can continue to enjoy? We'll start with Fiona.
I think it's really hard. You're really treading on like a fine line, because it's like you want to be personal with your followers and fans because they are supporting you, but you're just like, you can't trust everyone.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things would be probably to stand up for each other. Like if someone's getting harassed, maybe we all do, all ban them, like your friends ban them, like just really like gain trust. And also I mean, it's hard, especially with the tools that are here. I just hate when people, see this and they're like, oh, shrug it off, just get over it, because it's a troll, whatever. But it's like, this is stuff that's compromising your safety. This is not fun stuff, I can totally shrug someone off saying, oh, your stream sucks or whatever, like something stupid like that. But if it's really compromising where the safety where you should feel safe in your own home, that's an issue. And and it makes you not want to stream anymore. And it's really sad. I think the real thing that needs to be done is to get better moderation tools, especially on Twitch, since it's such a big platform for streaming games. So,
Nathan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I mostly agree with that. The other thing is, good moderation tools can go only so far if you don't have good moderators. So like, get very good moderators, make sure that they know what you want out of your community. And also through that, it's important to establish a community with good and healthy norms, because in some ways communities can moderate themselves, just by way of saying, like, seeing behavior that's out of line and saying, hey, stop doing that or else you won't be accepted here. And then if that doesn't work, just bringing that to the moderator's attention and being like, hey, can you get rid of this person? To Twitch's credit, they did improve their moderation tools yesterday, albeit not really in a way that will help with this particular situation. But they added more functionality for moderators so they can see a lot of information about everybody in chat. So that's something. But they need to do a lot more because, again, I think that it's important to look at what streamers and people in the Twitch community can do for each other here. But the bigger question is, what can Twitch do? I think this was broadly a failing on their end, and one that still badly needs to be addressed. Otherwise, it will keep happening to other streamers. And I think that streamers are not always confident in talking about these sorts of things, in part because people come to Twitch with an expectation of positivity. And when a streamer is being negative about something, people leave. That's bad for a streamer, so they don't want to do it. And on top of that, it's scary. It's scary to talk about this stuff because, if you've already got somebody being really weird and stocky, you fear retaliation. And so, yeah, I mean, it's on Twitch.
Absolutely. And I just want to look at Twitch chat really quickly because I think it's going to follow up with Tanya's comment. Urban Bohemian, it compromises your safety, but also takes a toll on your well-being and your mental health. It makes you not want to stream. Tanya, I know you in particular, after this incident, you really felt traumatized by this, both physically, mentally, and you feel like your safety was in jeopardy. What are things that you would love to see Twitch start implementing in their platform to make it better for you to stream without any sort of like abuse?
Well, the thing, and I've told them before, because I've actually gone to the Twitch office multiple times. I went there and gave a talk about streaming safely, ironically, 2 years ago. Transparency, because a big part of this is a lot of us tweeted at the Twitch account, Twitch support, which for anyone that doesn't know, doesn't actually support streamers. It's useless to tweet at that account. Transparency, tell me what has happened, not to the detail action, but we reviewed this. They violated TOS. They didn't violate TOS. Twitter, as terrible as Twitter is, can manage that. And they're not as big as Twitter. So if Twitter, with all its failings and Nazis and supremacists, can say, hey, we looked at this account, it violates TOS, it doesn't violate TOS, I feel like that transparency would be a lot better, because right now it feels like you're yelling in the void, even though I know for a fact a human does review all of these. Actually taking action that feels like it means something and giving us tools where we can say, Okay, great. Maybe someone shows up in my chat now with that tool where I can see, oh, you've been banned 8 times today. You are terrible. We're just going to ban you because we can tell you are not a good faith actor. We're just going to get rid of you. So give me tools to actually let me keep someone out of my chat. Don't let them see my chat and contact people. And ideally, a ban does more than just keep you from talking in the channel. You can't follow me after I banned you. And I suggested to Twitch to combine the ban and block function. Instead of just banning, just keeps them out.
Well, thank you so much, Tanya, Nathan, and Fiona for coming on the show and shedding light on this important topic. Hopefully